Alright, I'm going to change the oil in my 2001 Dodge Dakota 2-wheel drive 4.7 liter engine. It's pretty straightforward, but wanted to get a video of it just in case there is somebody out there that wanted to know how to change the oil and what the steps were. But basically what you're going to need, of course, is new oil and a new filter. The filter on this one, the Tough Guard, is TG16, and I believe, and of course this is Fram, and I believe just the regular Fram is a PH16, but double check, just look it up in the manual at whatever store you go to, or ask the parts person, they'll be able to look it up. The oil is 10W30. I've never used Pennzoil. I usually use Mobil 1, but with a purchase of this I got a free filter, so I think this was like 18 bucks, and then of course the free filter, so I thought, what the heck. I'm only going to run it for a little bit since I am doing some engine work and whatnot, so I'll probably within a month or two after I get done with that work change it back to Mobil 1. But this is a 10W30 synthetic, and the 4.7 liter takes 6 quarts of oil, which floors me because I think the 5.9 liter and the 5.2 liter take 5 quarts. I don't know where that extra quart goes, but it's a thirsty monster. Anyways, what you want to do is have your materials ready, and you'll want a 13 millimeter box end. I like to use the ratcheting because it's a little easier. But let's get down there and knock that loose. Alright. This guy is way in the back. See that. What you want to do is knock the drain plug loose. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Okay. Now, typically what I do is I'll take it around the block to warm the oil up. That way it flows a lot easier. But position your drain pan, because it's going to come out at an arc. I'll try to get you a good shot of that. Once you loosen it, be very careful. It's going to be hot. Come on, big guy. And there's no really trick to doing this. I like to push it in as I'm turning it till I get to the last thread, so I don't get hot oil all over my hands. And then yank it out. There you go. And that is pretty dirty. That is solid black. At least it's not coming out in clumps, which would not be a good thing. Yeah, it definitely was not 6 quarts. Usually it takes a little bit longer to drain. Alright, let's go back up top. While that's draining down there, what I'll usually do is, clean my glove up just a little bit, but I'll take the plug and I'll clean it. And I'll take a look. Most of these do have a gasket style washer. This one probably couldn't hurt to be replaced. But I'll look at the threads, make sure they're not too chewed up. And these look okay. So once I clean that, I'll set it aside so I don't lose it. And then I'll take the oil fill cap and remove it. And that'll help, push out any fluid, so there's not a suction in there. I doubt it's a true suction because there's probably enough leaks in the PVC and whatnot to PCV, system. But take a look at your oil cap. Some of them will come with a rubber O-ring. This one has one, and it's still pretty pliable, which is nice. If you find one that's cracked or stiff, maybe time to replace it. I don't know if these are serviceable. These O-rings on this cap, you may have to buy the entire cap, but call your dealer, or you might be able to call a parts store and see if they have any in stock. Alright, but once you're pretty happy with that, just set it aside. Now, one side note, I have read inside of the drain tube you may see foam or milky buildup. It's kind of similar to that crap, but Chrysler came out with a TSB, Technical Service Bulletin, on repairing that. And there's a baffle that you can put into your fill tube that'll help stop from doing that. Supposedly the air, I forget how they explained it, but the engine working foamed the oil up and it would build up in this tube. And in order to prevent that, they created like a little, little plastic piece, almost like a dipstick that sticks down in there to help stop that, but I don't really see that problem with mine. Okay, so once we let that set for a little while, what we'll do is we'll go back up under there, put the oil drain plug back in, and then take the old oil filter off. Let's go ahead and leave this guy off. And I can't claim ownership of this tip, but a really good tip: take your oil-filled cap, put it on your hinge where your hood comes down, so that way you never forget to put it on. If you go to shut your hood, this thing is going to squawk and scream at you. Alright, let's get down there and put that plug back in. Yeah, and that's what it should be doing when you put the plug back in, just a moderate drip. Typically, had this been full 6 quarts, we might be here about 3 to 5 minutes for it to get to this point, but I know the oil was low, so it didn't take long. Alright, let's put this guy back in. What you want to do when you start to thread this in, thread it in by hand. It should not fight you. You should be able to thread this all the way till it bottoms out, and then you just snug it with your wrench. By doing it this way, you're going to make sure you don't cross thread and ruin your bolt and your pan. I fixed enough cross-threaded drain plugs that I shudder when people do this and they absolutely get on it with a wrench before they even tighten it down with their hand. Once it's tightened down by hand, all you want to do is just snug it. You don't have to kill it. Once it's tight, I'll take the palm of my hand and just give it a quarter turn. There we go. Just to crush that, or I guess that was really an eighth of a turn. Just to crush that washer. And then take your rag, which I left up top, and wipe this down. I'll come back and I'll wipe it down. You want to clean it so that you can visually inspect if you have any leaks later on or whatnot. But let's go ahead and get that oil filter off. The oil filter, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's this guy right here. And I think the tripod, yeah, I got enough room. Of course, y'all probably don't have any light. Damn. Guy, one of the folks that put this on before me, decided to tighten it down beyond belief, so I'll bring you up top for this. What I grabbed was my oil filter wrench, and what I'm going to use, see, here's the oil filter right here, this guy, damn light, that's a little better. Bundle of wires in the way. But here's the oil filter. This black thing you see. If I can get my light. Oh. Alright, I need my light to cooperate. Okay. Jeez Louise. Sorry, guys. Okay. Here's the oil filter. Right here. Typically, when you do it, you can twist it up by hand. But it appears the last person that put one on decided to absolutely torque down on it, so I'm going to use a filter wrench, which is just a plastic cup that fits various size filters and has a 3/8 inch adapter to where I can get my ratchet on it and put some leverage on it. So let me grab that real quick, slip it onto the end of it, and then grab my wrench and I'll be right back. They make various styles of these filter wrenches. You can get chain style, oh shoot, rubber style, and they all work the same, but I don't know how well you can see that once I have the leverage that I need, I can actually start to turn that filter God, that thing was stuck on there. What you want to do before you get too carried away is get your drain pan positioned under the filter, because as you loosen it, oil is going to start dripping down. Okay, I can feel it's pretty loose now, so I'm going to take my ratchet off and do the rest by hand. I'm going to grab this from this angle. I'll grab it from the top. Okay, just let it drain a little bit. And let it drop. Alright. Typically you're not supposed to just let it drop everywhere, but there you go. Let me grab the camera. Okay. There is the nasty oil filter. One thing you want to do, there's a rubber seal on here that you want to make sure comes off. It should stay attached to the filter. You want to make sure that it is not on the mating surface of where, crap, I can't get you a good shot. The mating surface of the new filter goes. There we go. That's a lot better. What I'll do is, you notice how nasty it is. I'll take my rag. Let's go ahead and wipe that down. I don't think the oil's ever been changed in this poor thing. That is just filthy. I'll go a little better. Okay, let's go ahead and put the new filter on, and then we'll fill this up with oil. Take the new oil filter. And typically what you want to do is, you see the new gasket here, go ahead and put a little bit of oil on there. And since I've got plenty of it on my glove, I'm just going to spread it around there. That way you get the seal lubricated. And it doesn't take a lot. And you can use new oil, any of the oil that might have dripped off onto your hands. Just whatever your preference. I usually use the oil that spreads out all over my glove. Just make sure it doesn't have dirt and grime in it. But once you have it moist, you can do one of two things. You can go ahead and put a dry filter on, which means that you just have to add the appropriate fluid. It's probably The owner's manual says 6 quarts, so I imagine that's with a dry, empty filter. Or if you have a filter housing that is vertical, it goes straight up, comes straight off, I typically fill them up. I pour oil into the hole until the oil is just below the bottom thread, and then I'll screw it on to the engine. But in our case, this Dakota has the engine at an angle, so I could probably get a little bit of oil in here, but I don't want to make a mess, so I'm going to leave it dry. Okay, and once you get it on, you don't want to kill it and tighten it. You just get it on there snug and give it just a little bit of a turn just to crush that rubber washer. Okay, and that's it. Oil filter's on, drain plugs back in, do a mental check. Make sure you got all the holes plugged. And then from here, it's just a matter of filling it up. So since I have 5 quarts here, I'm going to go ahead and dump the whole thing in, let it set for a couple of minutes, and check the oil level. You can use a funnel, which is what I'll do. As soon as I find it. Give it a little bit more surface area to hit, because I'm not too good at aiming. And then just pour the bad boy in. Easy. Make sure you don't get any. One thing you can do to stop that from happening is take a sharp knife, poke a hole in the top. Just like that, and that way you won't get the air trying to rush back in and creating those slops. And what I'll do is I'll leave it upside down for a couple of minutes. Let as much of that oil as I can drip out, just so I can make sure I can get the last drop. You don't have to, it's probably just something. Oh, where'd it go? But once that's done, take it off, put the cap back on it, and recycle it. Okay, take your rag, Put it up under there so you don't drip it all over your engine. Try to, this engine's filthy, so I mean it won't hurt, but I typically try to keep my engines pretty clean, but since this thing's in recovery mode right now with me, I'm not too strict on how clean the engine compartment is. But once that's in there, let it set for a couple of minutes, and then we'll check the oil level. It's at a couple of minutes. We're going to go ahead and check the oil level. Take your oil dipstick, pull it out, give it a wipe down, and then stick it in. And then pull it out and check. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick that up, but we are in the safe level. You'll see little notches right in here. In between here is safe. Here is add. Anything below this point you want to add. But as long as it's in here, you're safe. So, since that's good, I'll stick this back in. And just to let you know why you take it out, wipe it first, and then put it back in and pull it out and check it, is from what I've been told, as the engine runs, even after you let it set, anything that's been splattered or pushed back up into the dipstick tube can skew a reading. So by pulling it out, wiping it, sticking it back in, you get more of a true reading. I don't know how accurate that is, but I've used it all my life to check it, and it hasn't failed me yet. So once that's done, make sure you put your oil fill cap back on. And this doesn't have to be super tight. Just get it snug. And that is it. Your oil is officially changed. Now, what you want to do after you change the oil, this is a good time to look at your engine, look at any hoses that are cracked or cut, or split, or just disconnected. Take a look at those since you're under the engine. Go ahead and take a look at your air filter. I had just changed my air filter about 2 weeks ago, so I know that's good. Driving around a little bit, make sure you have good oil pressure. Bring it back, park it on a level surface, let it set for about 5 or 10 minutes. Check the oil level again, then check for leaks. The main two places being your oil drain plug and your oil filter. Just make sure those aren't leaking, and you should be good to go. If you have any questions, especially how much oil your car has and you don't have the owner's manual and you can't find it on Google, leave me a message. I'll look in my manual and tell you. But thanks for watching.